Hello and welcome back. It's puzzle time with Sudoku Sleuth, and we have another fantastic puzzle for you today. We have the continuation of Sandra and Nala and Nala's many shenanigans in their humongous backyard, where Nala's continuously looking for pets, toys, you name it, in a back garden that she continues to lose things in. Now, I felt obligated to come back to this series of puzzles that Sandra and Nala have continued to create, predominantly because somehow I've missed in all of this that Nala is a dog, and that's the person that the individual we've been essentially helping all along. Like in all the pictures that you've seen in previous videos, I've always imagined Nala was a little girl and she's looking for a pet dog. It's almost embarrassing to see that kind of the clues were there all along. But when I saw very much the writing on the wall here in the story for today's puzzle, I thought I needed to play this, correct myself. And obviously, as someone who has two dogs, traveled with them across continental Europe and back, you can see why I absolutely needed to play this puzzle. Well, let's take a look at what we have today. So we have Toy Hidden Between Lines by Sandra and Nala. And the story is Nala is a playful dog, as you can see in the picture. She had such great fun with her lost toy being found in the fog last time, and she decided to hide it again. Now, if you haven't played that particular puzzle, I'd highly encourage that you do so first, because if memory serves, that puzzle was a 1-star difficulty rating. The one we're taking a look at today is a 2-star difficulty rating. So you may want to ease yourself into this, and I'll make sure that I link the previous video up there on a card so that you can actually play that first. So can we find Nala's toy? Now, normal Sudoku rules apply, so that means the digits 1 to 9 in every row, every column, and every 3 by 3 box. That's fairly straightforward. Digits along a between line must be between the digits on the circled ends of the line. Now, it's kind of a bit of a shame that the puzzle is covered in fog today, but you may have seen, I don't know if we've actually featured this on the channel before, but there are certain Sudoku variant puzzles where you end up with a line. I'm actually going to draw this. This is the only way this is going to make sense, unfortunately. Kind of like a line like that, and then at either end is a circle. And the idea is whatever digits you place in these circles, I'm going to center pencil mark these in to make sure I don't reveal anything. Let's say it's 1 and 8. Whatever the digits are between these two circles must lie between these two extreme digits. So that's kind of how I'm interpreting this rule. And as we unravel more of this fog, I'm sure it will become clearer and clearer. Now, it continues with the rules. Elements of the same color are connected. Fair enough. Digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. Digits separated by a black dot are in a 1-to-2 ratio. Gray dots are ambiguous and can turn out to be either functioning as a white or black dot for the digits they separate. Not all possible dots are necessarily given. There is no negative constraint. And additionally, the grid is partially covered in fog. Placing correct digits will clear the fog from the surrounding cells, possibly revealing more clues. She hopes you enjoy the hunt. Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it myself. Let me just clear this pencil mark. And if you want to enjoy this hunt and help Nala find her toy, which according to the previous puzzle was a ball, so that's what you've seen in the thumbnail, let's see what we're going to discover today. It's always been a bit of a surprise. Sometimes it's been a turtle, sometimes it's been a hedgehog. But now realizing Nala is a dog, it all makes a lot more sense than it used to in the past. Now, if you want to play along, link will be in the description down below as per usual. And with that said, let's restart the clock and see how we get on with this 2-star difficulty rating. So what I will do is just sort of kind of continue some of these lines based on what we can see. You can certainly see based on kind of where the lines were sort of disappearing into the fog that they are continuing, and this is continuing. Now, in my mind, at a minimum, that means there are these three in between cells. That's the minimum. Now, regardless of those in between cells, something that can never be on an in between line because it's got to be between two digits. And best case scenario, those two digits are 1, 9. But it also means that 1 and 9 can never be on an in between line. So for a change, when we look at these black crop key dots, of which there are 3 in a row, mind you, so that means that this is a 2, 4, this is 1, 2, 4, or 8, and this is 1, 2, 4, or 8. Now, we also have a pink line that you can see in here continuing into the fog. And more importantly, we can see no hint of a circle in this cell at all. So in my mind, that removes both of these as being ones, because how are we going to put a digit that's lower than 1 on one end of these lines? It's going to have to be a 0 or a negative number, neither of which is allowed. So we end up with a run of 2, 4, 8. Let's make this more explicit. This is, pardon me, 2, 8 on either end, and a 4 in the middle for our first digit at minute 1.5. Brilliant. And that's the circle that we needed, at least on this end. So I'm just deleting kind of the lines that I've had in here, so I don't confuse myself with the actual lines that are in the puzzle. Now, if a 2 is on here, it would force a 1. Whichever one has a 2, it will force a 1 on it for sure. But again, we've got a very similar challenge. Let's think about where 1 goes for a second. So 1 again is in neither of these between lines, because we've already pencil marked a 2, 8 pair. 2 is not on a white crop key dot, so none of these could be joint, as in 1 can't be here, joint with a 2. So 1 is in none of these. It is in fact down here. It would have been really helpful to know if this is a circle. I think that would have almost certainly made it a 1. But alas, not the case. You can also see a green kind of line that's disappearing into the fog. I feel like, yes, you know, with these fog of war puzzles, it reveals sometimes multiple clues and you have to make a conscious decision about which one you want to explore first. I feel like there's a lot of things in here that we haven't really explored. So for example, the fact that there is an 8 means that there is also no 9 in here. And a 9, helpfully, can't be on a between line either. So this is a 1-9 pair. 3 can't be in here because it would need to be joined with either a 2 or a 4. So 3 is on none of these white crop key dots. 3 is in fact there. And we're left with, is that 5, 6, 7 run? With this being the 6 and these being the 5, 7s that are surrounding it. We now see one of those mysterious gray cells. I probably should be a bit more articulate here. I'm just having a think around the ends and whether the ends help us identify which of these is the 2 or the 8. So just, you know, if I voice what I'm thinking for a moment, it feels, you're almost led to think that this is a 9 and this is an 8-7 setup. And this is a 2 and there will be a 1 in one of these with potentially sort of 5 and then sort of 6. Obviously, it has to be in between. It doesn't necessarily have to be, it's not a Rembrandt line. There absolutely can be gaps. It's just usually there's so many constraints that would almost encourage you to have digits that are not too far away from what is on the in between line. So having like a 1 and then an 8 and a 7 feels like a total waste, because at the other end we still need a 9 regardless to actually be able to contain these digits. And similarly in here, we need to have a 1 or a 2 on either end, given we already placed a 3 and a 4. Let's have a think about what this cell is for a second. Because you can see that it's on a black crop key dot. We don't know what this is for a second. But if it is on a black crop key dot, it is from 1, 2, 4, or 8. Now it's not 4, because that's not an in-between digit. It can be 8, it can be 2, and it can be 1. Which would mean that this could be 4. If that's a 1, that would force this to be a 2. That's totally plausible. If that's a 2, this couldn't be a 1 because we've got a 1-9 pair already, but it could be 4. So this is certainly no more than 2, 4. But it can be 4, 2. It's not like extreme, as in 2 goes to 1, 4 goes to 8. 4, 2 is plausible, providing that this is an 8, and therefore this is a 9. Which, nothing really prevents that at this point. That's another in-between line. And a gray cell. Now, if that's a gray cell, that would force this to be 4, 2, 1. Sorry, if that's a black cell, I should say, which is not possible. Yeah, let's think this through. So if that's... This couldn't be 1 because there's no 1-9 pair. If that's black, I'm fairly sure it can't be, but I'm just sort of demonstrating it can't be. It's either going 2, 1, and then we're struggling because what would be 2 away from 1, it will be repeating the 2, or 4, 2, requiring a 1 on an in-between line, which is not possible again because that's not the end, or 4, 8, and then we're struggling because we have to come back to the 4 and repeat it. And, you know, it also conflicts in the row. So this has to be a white dot, which in my mind eliminates 1 from being an option here. Because if there is a 1 in there, that's a 2. White dots on the other side would require a second 2. But what it can be, and this already tells us this is definitely a 4 now, is 2 and then 1 or 3. Not 1 because it's an in-between line. Never a 1 on an in-between line, except at the ends. But this could be 4, 8, and 7 as well. Can't be 9 for the same reason why it can't be a 1. So that's a white crop key dot, and it's 2 to 3, 8 to 7. They're all sort of essentially gravitating towards the middle. Now, it can't be, there you go, that's the answer. That's another white dot. It would have had to be 2, 3, 4. Can't place a 4. It is, in fact, 8, 7, and 6 in here. Let's reveal a whole bunch of numbers now. And an 8. Sorry, I'm just going to double check the rules. Digits along a between line must be between the digits on the circle ends of the line. Doesn't say anything wrong about repeating. So the fact that this is a 7 doesn't force this to be a 5. It absolutely could be, based on the rules. Right, if this is a 6, there is kind of somewhere in this fog a green circle. Let's say for the sake of argument it's in here. The question I want to ask is, could this ascend? Because we need to place 7 and 8 on these two, then a 9, and it can't be because 7 and 8, neither can be placed on this digit, and if it's ascending, the next one up is a 9, which is clearly not possible on an in-between line, so it's descending. So we have somewhere in here a digit that allows for 5, 4. It is kind of no larger than 3 if the circle is here, but could be as low as 1 or 2. Now, if it's descending, this could be anywhere from 2 to 5. So I'm just going to pencil mark all of these. except that's not a 4, that's not a 3. These are all the possibilities. There is 8, 3, 4. That's not an 8 anymore, because again, the in-between line at the end is higher. And yeah, that's a 2. That's an 8. This is almost forcing us to be a 9, but again, nothing stops us from being a 1. And somewhere in the distance out here is the 9, but just very unlikely at this point. Let's just say that. So now we have 8, 3, 4, 2. This has to be a 1 now because we've got a 2 on the in-between line. And there's a very large number of options here. You know, this could be 2, 3, 5, 6, or 7. I'm not going to pencil mark all of that. But we can see the green line is actually even longer than we expected. It is 5, 4, 3. And if it stops here, that's a 2. Otherwise, it has to exit the box to get to a 1, because 1 is already in box 4. So this couldn't be a 1. So this is either a 2, or the line continues into a different area and it forces this to be a 1 somewhere. Now, regardless, what it does tell me is the 2, now if it does exit and place a 1 in here, these can still be 2. But this is not the end of the line. This is from 2, 3, not 4, but 5 is possible. We have another grey dot up here. Could be black or white. It's not very helpful. If that's a 2 on a white dot, I don't think it can be because it can't be 1 or 3 in here. That's not a 2. This could be a 4 with a 5. This can be a 5 with a 4 or a 6, all of which is possible. It would have been really helpful to know that these can't repeat, but normally you're allowed to repeat digits on in-between lines, so we know it's something between 1 and 8 other than a 4. So that's just, again, not very helpful, not restricted enough. Now, 4 and 5, what it does say is there is definitely a 5 in here, because it's either 4, 5 or 5, 6. That's not a 5, that's 2 or 3. Now, I can see if this is a black crop key dot, it couldn't be a 2 because 1 and 4 are both gone from this cell. And if it's a 3, this would be a 6. That's if it's a black crop key dot, it's a 3 with a 6. If it's a white crop key dot, the 1 is gone, so the 2 could be a 3. The 3 could be joined with a 2, but it can't be joined with a 4. Now, in any scenario, we have a 3 in here. You're really having to work hard to earn everything in this puzzle, aren't you? This is not easy going at all, but I guess that's why it's a 2-star rating. It pushes you every step of the way. If this is, so we know that this is 8 or lower, but it can repeat. Yeah, it's just not enough. There's too many options. This can literally be 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, even 8 again. That's not a good use of our time pencil marking that all. Again, it's nice that the 1 and 2 are looking at this blue end, but this could be the high end, for example. So this could still be an extreme digit like 9 or 8 or something along those lines. I do want to think, though, about where 8 goes. Because you can see it's in none of these. Can't place an 8 in here because the end is already an 8. So 8 goes here. 8 goes there. And here. Doesn't feel exactly useful to be corner pencil marking kind of in the fog. Doesn't exactly help us reveal much. We do know that there's also a 6 in here because of these two 6s in addition to these two 8s. So there's a 6, 8 in here. Is row 9 really where we need to look next? It's not 1, this could be 2, 3, 5. It's not 4, it can be 5. It's not 6, 7, 8, or 9. So this is 2, 3, 5. Presumably both of these are 2, 3, and 5. And one of these is joining them. When I say one of them, that could even include a 7. So this could be a 2, 3 pair, this could be a 5, and this could end up being 6, 7, 8. So it's not a lot of restrictions, if I'm honest. Ones are not here. Ones can still be anywhere in here. Let's have a think about what else. So I mean 2, 3, 5. We need 2 of them. One of them will be somewhere in here, and it will be joined with 1 or 9. Now, interesting, if this is a 1, this would be a 2. If this is a 9, this would be an 8. And it's not 2. It can still be 3, and it still can be 5. So it's just not doing enough work for us. Yeah, not enough, not enough. Nine is in none of these. So there's now 9s in here. I mean, if I can eliminate 7 from there, that would put a 7, 8, 9 in here. It's just I can't even do that. I'm a little bit clueless about where I should be going next, if I'm honest. Let's think about the green line for a moment. Reason I'm saying that is we already said is the lowest digit that can be in box 4 is a 2 because 1 is already gone. That would force 3, 4 or 5, and then 3 or 5 in here. All in order. It's just if it forces this to be a 3, this would be a 6. This would be a 4, 5. This would be a 2. This would be a 7. And then that would be an 8, 9 pair. So it kind of unravels a lot for us if it terminates here. Continuing with this, this is a 3, this is 4, 5. This is neither 2. This will end up being 3, 5. So that would be, you know, a tremendous amount of progress if it terminates here on the 2. Now, if it doesn't terminate here, having a look around, as you can see, we've already placed, so that would mean that there is a 1 somewhere around here, which, to be fair, is entirely plausible. It can even go all the way around as such. You know, it can just kind of kink back on itself and have a circle here, for example. But it does mean that this is very restricted because it's either the end and it's a 2. It's not a 3. Could also be a 4. But it's not a 5. We've already cornered that in there. And it's not a 6 because we've already placed that in here. That's, you know, we can't place a 6 again on the in-between line. And yeah, we are left with a 789 setup. This 7 is going to do some work for us now, finally. 5, 7, 2, 3, 5. Yeah, not a lot of work. It would have been more helpful if this is a 5. That would have been a 2, 3 pair and 6, 7, 8. But we do have 4 and 7 in here. Don't know anything else. A lot of it is still really flexible, unfortunately. But it did reveal that this is an end. Why is that important? Why did it show us that? Also showed us that this is clearly we now know that this is the high end. This is part of it. Again, kind of almost leading us to think that this is the 6 and the 3, but no real guarantees. 4 is now down here. 4 is up here. Two can still be there. 2 couldn't be still there. 5 we've known there. 5 is in here. 3 is, that's a 3, 4, 5. I think it was, I don't know why I did it the hard way, because, you know, we already pencil marked everything else. So this was always going to be just 3, 4, or 5. And therefore, because we don't have a 3 in here, this is going to be 2, 6 joined with an 8 joined with a 1 or 9. Yeah, too awkward to pencil mark this, I think. And this would be another 1 or 9 with 2, 4, 6, and 7. Too many options. Let's pencil mark these. This is 1, 3, 5, 9. Right. 1 places a 2. 3 places a 2 or 4 or 6. 5 would place a 4 or 6, and 9 would place an 8. I mean, it's still restricted despite it being grey and despite the fact that we've only been able to reduce it down to these 4 digits. Somehow we ended up with just 4 digits on the other end. I'm not getting it. I don't know why this would actually help us necessarily. 7, 8, 5. So we absolutely know that there is a 9 somewhere on this pink line. I don't know where the other end is, but let's just assume it's here. So there's a 9 somewhere between these two, and a 4 or lower cell to be able to contain the 5. Let's think through this. If this is a 4, this would be 5, this would be 6, this would be 2, 3. And then somewhere around here would be a 1. That this green jumps to. It's not that anymore. 5, 6, 5, 6. Could be a 2, 3 in any way. 6 is gone. 4 and 7 are in there. We still need to place 6 digits. 1, 2. 1, 2, and 9? Is that really all? Why is it so few? I was expecting that there will be more digits. Because there is 6, no, 5 in here. We've already taken 2 out of them. So there, that leaves 3, 1, 2, and 9. I feel like we're going to have to take a look at the pink cell next. Sorry, the pink line next. And the answer to that is not very good. There's a lot of options for that digit. It's not 1. Can be 2. You know, if this is a 1, this absolutely could be a 2. It's not a 3. Sorry, it can be 3. It can be 4. It can be 5. It's not 6. Could be 7. And it could be 8. Same as this one. It's just not helpful at all, really. What it does do is it places a 9 in here. That's not a 7, actually. We've got a 7 in the row. This can still be a 6. And that would still allow both 3 and 5 on this grey Kropke dot. We're fast approaching the half-hour mark. We've only half revealed the fog. Not even quite half. Just shy of half. And I certainly don't want to go off on a tangent where I'm just throwing in some digits hoping that one of them will stick. There's got to be a logical path for this that I'm just not quite seeing. Just going to double check the rules if I missed anything. Digital long gun. Sorry, please excuse the interruption. Hopefully that's the last one before we can actually finish this puzzle. And if memory serves, we were just about to read the lines, sorry, reread the rules to see if there's any clues in them once again. So digits along a between line must be between the digits on the circle ends of the line. Each line has its own color. Elements of the same color are connected. And digits separated by a white dot are consecutive. Digits separated by a black dot are in a 1:2 ratio. Gray dots are ambiguous and can turn out to be either functioning as white or black dots for the digits they separate. Not all possible dots are necessarily given, and there is no negative constraint. You know something that I've done, that I've only partially done? These two are connected, aren't they? Oh, goodness me. This was a 6. Oh, goodness me. Sleuth. There's probably like 20 minutes I can sort of delete of thinking here. That's very embarrassing. Sorry, I You see, this is 8 or 9. That's the high digit. That's the low digit. The lowest it can be was a 4. And this was on the line. It was 2, 3, or 6. It was never going to be 2 or 3 because the lowest is 4. Ay, ay, ay. Very sorry about that. That's a 4-5 pair. That is a 2. That's the end of the green line. So that's, we can't have a 2 anymore on there. That's 3 or 5. Wow. Right, let's just place what these could be. So they can be as low as 4, which means they can include 5, 6, 7, and I'm going to include an 8 for a second, if that happens to be a 9. This can't be a 5. This cannot be a 6. This cannot be an 8. This is 6 or 7. This is not 7 or 8. This is 5. This is in fact 5. Here is the puzzle now unraveling. This has to be as low as a 4. 5. 3. Not 3. Not very useful. Not 3. I'll take it. I was just stuck for way too long there. 7 is not available as an option in here. Neither is 5, actually. That's an 8. And therefore, that's a 9. That's an 8. Hallelujah. Progress. So we have a 1-2 pair, presumably up here. Finally answering this question of what is this? That's a 9. Now, this could be as low as 2 if that's a 1, which for the moment looks entirely feasible. For the moment. Now, this is composed of 6, 7, and what else do we have in here? 6, 7, and we've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. 9 is definitely not on this pink line, which we can see. Pink line? Call it red line because that's pink. You can see it's doing something as follows. Whoops. So this is joining in here somehow, but we just don't know what or how it's joining. That forces this to be in the 9. There we go. We know how it is joining now. One or 2. This is certainly not a 5. Because I think this has to be a 2, because it's either 2, 3 if it's a white dot, or 2, 4 if it's a black dot. That's always a 2, that's a 1. There's a 5 somewhere in here with amongst this 3, 4, 5. We know that now this is a 1. Feels like a weight has been lifted. How long has that been sitting there? Screaming at me an answer. I'm sure in the comments there will be riots as well, talking about the fact that I've just missed this for so long. So, we know it has to be lower than this. No, that's not the path. Let's just finish it this way. 1 is in neither of these. 1 can be here. 2 could be in any of these, surprisingly. 3, 4, 5. Sorry, I'm just being extra careful now, just in case I've missed anything. And 9, and that's not 9. 9 can't be in here because that's a white Kropki dot. That's a 2-6 pair, eliminating the 6 and the 2-6 from here to leave us with a 1-9 pair. So whatever this is, it is higher than 6 for sure, assuming that this is the end of the line. Let's think about this for a second. What is this cell? What is this Kropki dot, I should say? It could be black or white. Can't be a 1. So if it is a white Kropki dot with a 2, that's a 3. Or it's a black Kropki dot and that's a 4. Now the alternative is this is a 6, and if it's a black croppy dot, it's a 3. If it's white, it could be 5 or 7. Now I have a very strong suspicion that this is kind of the end of this line, and therefore it has to be a 7, and this 4 has to be a 6. Just can't prove that. Can this white crop key dot help us? This is either 1, 3, 5, or 7, all of which seem to be available. Can this grey dot help us? If it's a 1, this is definitely a 2. If it's a 3, it's either 2 or no, there is no 2, therefore there's no 1. If it's 3, this could be 4, and it can't be 6. You can see that, and that as well. So this could be white with a 3, so this could be 2, 3, 4. Could this be, this could also be 6, 5, 4. Now if it's 6, 7, 8, that's not possible. So the only other possibility would be if it's a black crop key dot, and it's not a black crop key dot because it's can't be 2, 4. Why can't be? No, that's a white one. So that's 2, 3, 6 is 5 or 7, which can't be on a black crop key dot. That's a 3 on a black crop key dot. That would require to be a 6. This is always a 4. And therefore, I'm going to say this has to be a white crop key dot. This has to be either a 5, 6 or a 3, 2. Any scenario, it's not a 7. These are not 4 anymore. That's not 4 either. So it's either a white crop key dot with a 2 or a white crop key dot with a 6, and it's 5, 7. So these are both white. Not exactly helpful. That's 5, that could still be 7, so this could be a 5, 7 pair, and 3 is still not placed. Can it be a 5, 7 pair? Yeah, I think so. See no issues with that. What else can we place in here? We can place a 4 over there. This is not 5. This is getting extremely restricted now. If it's a 2, that's a 1. If that's an 8, the lowest digit is a 5. So it has to be 4 or lower. It can't be 4, it can't be 3. It certainly can be 1, but it can also be a 2. So this could be 2, 8 or 1, 2. Any case, there's a 2 in here, no 2s in there. Forcing the 2. Oh, well, no 2 in here either. That's not a 1. So that's... Now, there's still a few options there. It's kind of tempted to jump to some conclusions that won't really stand up. 3, 5, that's a 7. That's a 6, 2. 7 in here forces this to be a 6, forces this to be a 7. This 2 means that's definitely a 3. That's also now, therefore, a 5. Neither of these are a 5 now. Got 2 and 3 definitely up this side. Where does 7 go? Somewhere in here. Can we restrict it a bit more? Not really. So this is either 3, 6 or 9, 8. That's 9, that's 1, that's 2, that's 3. All good. 3 and 6, we place a 2 in here, a 1, 9 pair in there. Also all good. What do we have at the top? So 1 is available, 2 is not, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, Surprisingly, 8 and 9 are available. More options than you may think. I mean, this is certainly quite the tour on this one. So 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9. Too many options. Way too many options. Right. No, we haven't been able to determine that. Can remove the 3 from there. Can't really remove 4 or 5 from any of these. I don't think I'm missing anything obvious. Well, kind of as obvious as as the mess that I was doing over there. Let's think about these. So we need a 5 down this way. One can still be placed. 2, 3. We need a 4 down this way. It's not eliminating any options necessarily. It may actually just sort of help with, because you see, we know now that there's definitely a 4 or 5 on this purple line. Which starts to put just a little bit of pressure, not a huge amount of pressure. They're very middling digits on these end bits. 6, 7, 8, and 9. This can be 9, 8, can't it? Then 9 and 8 would be up here in the form of 8 and 9. So I think this breaks here. 9, 8 would force this to be a 2. Still need to place 8 and 9 in box 2, so that would be 8 and 9. 9 up here would force this to be a 1. I've placed 1 and 2 now. What would this digit be? That's a 3. That's a 6. That's a 2. I think we can lose a whole bunch of corner pencil marks now. We actually know what these should be. This is from 3, 6, and 8. Now, this is on the high end of the 2. Therefore, this has to be a 1. And this is now 5 and 9. And to complete the box, we need 2, 4, and 7. We have our 3 looking up here now. That's not 3. 1, 4, 5, 8, 9. Too many options again. This 4, 9 maybe? Not really. This 2, 4, or 7. All of which is possible depending on what this is. That's not a 9 for sure. This is from 2, 4, or 8. We don't know what this is, unfortunately. So it looks like we've got, well, it's not 8. 8 can only be joined with a 4, which is not available. A 4 could be joined with an 8, could be joined with a 2, and a 2 could be joined with a 1. This 9 was looking at this 1, 9 for a while, hasn't it? Huh? Goodness me. I think it's just once you kind of lose a bit of confidence, you end up making a lot more mistakes, unfortunately, as a result. And you just need to try and make sure it doesn't get to you. So that's a 7-9 pair, that's the 7, that's the 9. 9 is not an option in here. That's 1, 3, or 7. 1 cannot be on the middle. Let's join with some sort of 4 or 5. Let's actually delete all of this and clear this up. This is 4, 5, and 8. Now that we have a 9 on here, all of these are easy options, unfortunately. This is not, I was going to say this is not 5 because, but yeah, we can see there's a white crop key dot. That's not an 8 because 7 and 9 are not available. That's 4 or 5. That's not an 8 either. That's the 8. We'll take it. So 3, 7, 4, 5. This has to be 3 or lower, and it can't be as low as 1, and it can't be as low as 2. It is in fact 3 and 7. And these are not 7. You can see that this has to be the 1 because that's in the middle. That's 3, that's 1. That's 4, that's 5, that's 3. Coming up to an hour now, but I can see the finish line. 5, this forces this to be a 4. This has to be 3 or lower. We've got 2 is the only option. That forces this to be a 4. 4 is in neither of these now. In fact, what is that now? This is made up of 2 and 9, it seems. Certainly not 2, because what poor middle digit are we going to put between 1 and 2? 9, 2. 2 is now, as you can see, just normal Sudoku now. So neither of these is in here. Neither of these are 2. You can take this a step further. That's the 7. That's the 4. Today's toy for Nala is a teddy bear. I mean, wasn't it a teddy bear last time? I don't know why I got the idea that there is it's a ball for some reason. So we've got 1 and 2s. This can be as low as 3, although we can't have 3 anymore. It's gone from the column. That's 6 or 8. And what else do we need to place in here? We've got 6, 8, and 5. 5 can't be there. That's the 5. That's 6 or 8. That's a 6 because we've got already 8 in the row. That's the 8. These are not 8. We've got a 3 looking at this. That's 6. That's 3. This can only be from 2 or 8. 2 is not available, so it is an 8. And this is a 6 to finish. 5 and 9, can we do these? Not yet. Let's have a look. Where can 1 go? 1 goes here. We know what this is. That's an 8. We need 5, 7, 9 by the looks of things. 9 must be in here. 5, 9. That's got to be the 7, and I've not made any mistakes. That's the 5. Finish. Wow, just over an hour. I'll be honest, I don't think it's as difficult as I made it seem. I think I was just stuck on not realizing that these 2 blue lines are connected for so long, where I just kept going over the same logic time and time again, looking for the clue that I'm missing. So I think you can probably shave, a good 10, 15 minutes off that. And yeah, this is a 45-minute puzzle. I think if I had 45 minutes of time, I'd be very happy with that. Now, regardless, I mean, I loved the puzzle. I hope you have too as well. They're a phenomenal series. I love the story. They are intricate puzzles to solve. It requires a lot of thinking. And for the constructors, Sandra and Nala, just please keep them coming. Thank you so much for creating it. Thank you so much for enjoying the video. And hope to see you for the next one. Bye for now.